I'm very fortunate enough to have been working with Copex machines since the age of 10 years old, which is actually, believe it or not, 40 years ago. We were in a family business which was started by my grandfather after the war. He bought his first Copex machine, I want to say in about 1970, when I was only about 3 years old. I worked for the family business up until 2006, where unfortunately my dear old father passed away, at which then I decided to go into business on my own, where in 2007 I started my own business and I bought a mobile 620 Copex machine, which was very good piece of equipment. We used to take it to different jobs, demolition jobs, factory jobs. I then went on in 2011, was fortunate enough to part exchange this machine to my 800-ton Copex LIDEX machine. Very good machine. We can get up to 300 tons a day through it with the right material. When I bought my 800-ton side compression LIDEX machine, I was invited to the factory at Lorient, where I was actually surprised that this machine has a fully automatic cycle. Because of my experience in the industry, I couldn't believe that there would be a side compression machine that you wouldn't actually have an operator on the machine. But this was the case. The great thing with the LIDEX 800, where it's fully automatic cycle, meant that not only did you only have one man to operate the machine, but it was operated from the grab, which with a remote control box, which this was just amazing. In 2017, we were able to purchase another machine, which was a REFLEX 650 on the American spec. Very strong machine, very impressed with its capabilities. On both machines, Copex have developed some tools that make the blade changing a very easy process. I think we changed the blades in long as the seating and the area around the blade's not damaged in 1 hour. Further from that, I would like to say that Copex have been very forward in their support to the machines I've bought. Also with the technical backup to the machine, you can pick the phone up and talk through the problem. If they can't sort it over the phone, they then have a mobile modem that they can talk to the machine remotely from the factory, which we have found this to be absolutely incredible. What I like about the Copex machine, once I'd placed my order, you get invited to the factory to go and have a look at production. Very impressive factory. All the staff are very grateful to see you. They all shake your hand, stop the machine, say hello. But it's fantastic. The Copex factory, the tour of the factory is a must if you buy a machine. With all the machines I've bought, Nicholas has invited me to the factory just before dispatch of the machine, so you actually see your own machine working, cutting scrap, to make sure all the specifications of what you've ordered, if there's anything you want changed. The machine is completely installed at the factory and working before they take it to pieces and ship it to your site. Fantastic. The machine was installed and working within 2 working weeks. The guys worked very hard, but it was impressive. Personally, I enjoy working with Copex. I do feel that you're not just a number, you are a valued customer.
Hi, my name is Carl. I'm a manager here at Chinham, Bryanhurst Chinham. Our main tool here for working is a Copex REFLEX 650. It processes all the metal on site, from light iron to shearing and cars. The site here is small, so our main thing is to turn around metal as quick as possible. So as soon as the metal's in, it's processed and sent back out again. The REFLEX 650 is a great machine. It's a lot better than our last machine. It can process the material very quickly. It's very efficient, and particularly like the idea when baling the material, the machine operator, he can operate the whole machine from the remote control while sat in his cab, and that gives him the facility then to be able to do other things in the yard, like offloading other vehicles, whilst the machine is working by itself. The machine works very well. For downtime for servicing, there's very little. To change blades, it's a 2-hour job, maybe 2.5 tops. The shear head is very strong on this machine. It's got long guide, and it's like a big machine. It really cuts the material very well and cleanly.
I'm Stuart Muddle. My company is Charles Muddle Limited. We're a family business, family concern. We've been in this area for the last 130 years as a family, in business, employing people, purchasing machines. I started here in 1983. We bought machinery to chop scrap, cut scrap, shred scrap, in all different types of operation with scrap metal. We then bought a shear in the early 90s. We then bought another Copex shear. First Copex shear. We then had a second Copex and then the third Copex shear, which is a 1,300 ton LIDEX. We normally produce between 80 and 100,000 tons a year. The machine's been reliable, it's been economical, and given us very good service. The LIDEX is thoughtful, it's clever. The blade changing system is very good. It's simple to work on for us. It's simple to teach people how to use it, the machine. It's been very economical, very economical. The automatic cycle with the side press and the lid is very good to use on certain materials, on regular materials. The machine's powerful and does exactly what it says. It does the job. Yeah, the machine is it's capable of 50 to 60 metric tons an hour, and we're cutting purely heavy scrap with our machine, not light scrap. We had good service from the service engineers from Copex. They were here for 2 weeks whilst we installed the machine. Yes, we've had good operation with the service from Copex. We've had the engineers here when we assembled the machine. They were very explanatory with everything as we were putting the machine in. It does the job exactly as it's meant to do. We looked at machines around the world. We picked the Copex machine because we thought it was the most economical. We don't have any cabin on the machine. We only use the machine with radio control. We like the Copex because the technology has been put into the electronics. The electronics are superior to the older machines. The evolution of the electronics has been very clever and used in the most sensible and economical way. We can service a machine and we can see exactly what the machine is doing through the electronics.
So this is the blade changing equipment for the shear, which we didn't find with the other manufacturers. It's very easy to use. It can also be done within a couple of hours for a couple of guys with no heavy lifting and pulling, and everything's accessible. With the automatic cycle, it is just worked out the best for us and the fastest operation for us as well. With the Copex, we wanted to process heavy scrap. With the LIDEX range, with the lid being so big and powerful, it really did the job. This is why also we like the LIDEX, with the power of the lid covering the whole box for the heavy scrap that we process.
I got started in the scrap industry as a little kid. My dad used to have a salvage yard, and whenever they were done selling all the parts from the cars, I would drive the shell as well as leftover of the cars down to a scrap yard down the street. So when I would go there, I would always be fascinated at all the cranes and shears, picking up the cars, crushing them, and then feeding it into a shredder and then coming out in tiny pieces. So I was always better at breaking things and building things, so it was kind of a good path for me to go into. And I went to school at Texas State University, and I was in the McCoy Business School there, and we had to come up with a business plan for our entrepreneurship program. So it was a four semester program, and in the third semester of doing the business plan for the scrapyard, I started talking to my dad about actually starting one up. So we started talking about it, started looking good, and he had a piece of property that he wasn't using, so we decided to open it up there, and he helped me out with a old excavator he had and 2 trucks that he wasn't using. So we started it up. In my last semester in college, I was running the scrapyard from San Marcos and commuting to Houston most weekends. So when I graduated, moved back to Houston and went full force with it, and here we are now. this is something that I actually enjoy doing. So it's a fun industry. I've met a lot of fun, great people, get to travel. So it's something that I wake up to every morning and have something to look forward to. It's something new every day. Reason we chose a Copex quality was one of the biggest reasons we chose it, just the way they're built, and the Copex brand. After me going to France, getting to visit the factory and seeing how it's such a family-oriented business company, and just a leadership there with the owners and the guys in charge, and then having Shear Core represent them in the United States, that was a selling key right there. So you can't beat the service and quality that Shear Core offers. So it kind of fit our budget and the kind of materials we're processing. We're feeding a little bit of everything, some demolition material, pipe, I-beam, car bodies, car frames, number 2 light gauge material. So the nice thing about these, what we weren't able to do with our Aljon car baler before, is we can upgrade most of our light gauge material as a number 2 HMS. And that's definitely given us the advantage of being able to sell our scrap for a lot more, so we can upgrade a lot of our scrap. Having the Copex 750, it's definitely increased our productivity every day. So usually we would have a giant pile of scrap, but now having the Copex and then an Aljon car baler, we get down to ground every day. So most days we're able to process in one day with what we're buying, so we don't have a big pile of material, so we're processing a lot faster and more efficiently than before. Especially with our number 2, we're able to get a more dense package that the mill's really like. We're doing a little more heavy iron than light iron, so I would say about a 70-30 mix at the moment. The bales on the Copex 750 are really well accepted. They're easier to load on flatbeds because they're a little smaller, so you don't have a lot of material sticking out. And what's nice about the Copex 750, it is an amazing non-ferrous baler. Where we used to bale our aluminum radiators in our Aljon, now we bale them in the Copex because they come out a lot smaller and tighter. So we don't even have to strap them after baling them because they come out so tight that nothing's going to break off or come off. Maintenance on the Copex 750 so far has been a walk in the park. I mean, all you have to do is just change your blades whenever they start doling out, and since it's a electric machine, you don't have to do anything to the engine. I mean, the only daily maintenance we do is just greasing it. This machine can run all day without overheating, even in the Houston summers. They come with a pretty big cooler, which keeps the hydraulic oil at a low temperature where you're not going to have a lot of leaks or blown hoses. Our experience with the Copex 750 so far has been great. Couldn't have asked for a better crew to come out and help us install it. And if we ever have any questions or problems, we call them, or we can call the factory in France and they give us answers right away. We've never been down for more than 30 minutes with just little issues that we couldn't figure out ourselves. So the support has been phenomenal. Yeah, so for the insulation, we were fortunate enough to have one of the guys from the factory from Copex come, and then 2 guys from Shear Core come out and help us do the insulation. So getting both point of views really helped out, and they really showed us, what to do if this happened, or what to do if something else happened. So that was a great experience. Being able to operate the Copex 750 from the crane has been amazing. Not only does it eliminate one operator, so you're saving a lot of labor in that, but you work more efficient with just one guy knowing what he's doing, he doesn't have to feed another machine that has another operator and he's got to depend on someone else. So with one guy and one machine, you're doing it all. After he loads the box and it starts processing, he can unload another truck or start loading another truck. On the blade wear, it also depends on what you're cutting. If you're doing a lot of light iron, structural stuff, you'll get a little more life out of them. But when you get to cutting rebar, rebar pipe, that's when you start seeing a little more wear. I thought they were going to wear down a lot faster, but we've gotten double than what we expected to get.